So, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into the spring and summer travel season for New Brunswick. Now, for people who are from New Brunswick and live outside the province, Ontario, BC, whatever states, even overseas, military, when they come home, the majority of them crave something that's very distinctly, well, New Brunswick, especially Acadie and the Anglophone sections of the province. It's the incomparable, tasty, and calorie infused Dixie Lee snack or dinner. Now, Dixie Lee and its traditional red boxes have been feeding Maritimers as long as I can remember. My main Dixie Lees, of course, have been in Woodstock, New Brunswick, Campbellton, Dalhousie, and Bathurst. And this goes a shout out to Mrs. Oakes, the longtime manager of the Dalhousie location, who made probably some of the best Dixie Lee snacks and dinners in all of Canada and the States. Now, a traditional Dixie Lee snack has all the great herbs and spices of Dixie Lee. It's a certain taste. It's comparable. The only thing compared with is Flamingo brand chicken that's available at most outlets across the Maritimes and Quebec. Now, the Dixie Lee snack, not to be confused with the fish dinner, is either one or two or three pieces, preferably a breast or and a wing or a breast and a leg, with crinkle cut fries. Possibly the best is McCain's, the traditional Dixie Lee gravy, which is not available with certain snacks, but of course it is topped off, just like Mash said about the ribs, with the infamous and best ever Dixie Lee coleslaw. A coleslaw so big, people cater it to donation fundraisers throughout southern and northern New Brunswick on a regular basis. Now, the best way to describe a Dixie Lee snack is or dinner is grease. It's put in the best of grease. It tastes greasy. You can take a paper bag and roll the bag, roll the chicken in the bag. You will come out with, maybe 1 to 2 ounces of grease. By my estimation, a Dixie Lee three-piece dinner could have as much as 800 to 1,200 calories. So it's not something every day. But the taste of the red box is best when you're, at a family gathering. Could be a wedding. It could be at the beach. Traditional, parking tables or restaurant tables, or in the different restaurants in the province. And it's better shared with friends. People eat Dixie Lee snacks or dinners alone. Basically, you're losing the fun because you can share the laughter. You can go about what happened during the day, whether going to the bingo or coming from a celebration or a sports game. And once the grease gets on your fingers, I mean, it's finger looking good. Not to be confused with other brand I'm not plugging tonight. Now, what's great about this, and which is unfortunate in certain situations we're going to get into, the Dixie Lee snack box is pretty hard for everybody, to finish it off in one sitting. But the box is so distinct, and it's so decorative, and the little, the cut on the top of the box to put your fork and your napkin and all that, it just sums it up. And most people take it home and keep it in the fridge and eat it when they can reheat it. But unfortunately, in recent years, and this is the only negative of Dixie Lee snack, when people are driving home or drive on takeout, instead of putting in a garbage receptacle, and this was known in North Shore between Campbellton and Bathurst for years, they would dump the Dixie Lee snack box out as garbage, and people would unfortunately hit it or be picked up on the side of the roadway. A real Dixie Lee fan doesn't dump the Dixie Lee garbage or the refuse on the side. He put it into traditional red cans. But that's the only negative of Dixie Lee snack. But the only thing I must say, if you never had it before and you had it for the first time, you might not like it. But if you grew up poor or grew up with only a certain thing you would have, in our family, going out for Chinese food at a Motel Maritime or the Canton Dalhousie or the Dixie Lee in Dalhousie was when the check came in or when money came in, you could treat yourself. And again, the bucket was good too. I think it was 14 to 16 pieces, and they had that infamous topper where you could easily open it. But you could get in trouble with certain locations when you say, "I want a snack with no wing." Some people freak out and try to charge you extra. I think the prices right now are in the $10 range, a little bit cheaper for one piece. But the reason I'm also addicted to tartar sauce is because the Dixie fish snack is perfect with their tartar sauce, but that's another ball game altogether. So again, not good for your health. If you eat one of these a week, we'll put on 50 pounds in a year. But my God, it's who we are in the Maritimes, especially in New Brunswick. And what was better back in the day than going to a movie than going to Dixie afterwards, or going to Bingo Dixie, or buying a Dixie before you went to go to the drive-in. Because some drive-ins, ladies and gentlemen, the true story, they used to have outdoor eating areas with, the beautiful of the summer and the echoing of the drive-in movie. So again, if you have any Dixie Lee snack addicts in your family, this is for you. And all my family are big Dixie Lee fans, and my mother especially was a huge Dixie Lee fan, and she taught my brother Joshua, and Joshua now has two girls, and he's with his wife Jessica, Elizabeth and Eleanor, and they're getting to the Dixie Lee generation. But in my family, Dixie Lee goes back at least now six generations, because my great grandmother and my grandmother were big fans, and here we have the younger members of the family getting into the Dixie Lee generation. So on this beautiful Monday evening, we say, if you're a Dixie Lee fan, please give me a like or subscribe. There's a previous podcast I've done on the history of Dixie Lee, but this is specifically to talk about the spring and summer eating of Dixie Lee, which is always, always, and will never be diminished as so important to Maritimers, because it's who we are. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.